Hi. This week's First Chapter Friday is The Brilliant Fall of Gianna Z by Kate Messner. Kate Messner is an author who's written a bunch of books, including Breakout, which is super popular in our library. And this is a good fall book, so I thought this would be a good time to read this. Kate is actually coming to our school in June, so I thought it'd be a fun time to highlight one of her books that you might not have picked up before, but is a really good one. And my personal copy of this book I actually got this book signed previously when Kate had been at our school. It's a really fun and kind of special thing to have a book signed by the author who wrote this actual book, and it's yours and it's personalized to you. So I hope that's something you all can take advantage of when she's here. Chapter 1. 41 minutes to cross-country practice, 41 minutes to shorts and running shoes, 41 minutes to crisp October air that smells like apples and leaves and wood smoke all at once. And that means 41 more minutes of science class. I try to catch Zig's eye, but he's busy taking notes, so I look around while Mrs. Loring lectures us about the wonder of trees. Her dark eyes are huge behind her glasses, like she has the most exciting news ever. Did you know there are probably more than 20,000 species of trees in the world? I don't think Kevin Richards knew, and I'm pretty sure he doesn't care. He's wadding up tiny balls of paper, trying to shoot them into the desk in front of him. Ruby Kinsella is sitting there, and she's too busy writing in the green marble notebook she always carries around to notice she's under attack. I hear a rustle behind me and turn to see Bianca Rinaldi rummaging through her backpack for lip gloss. 20,000, Mrs. Loring says, and scientists think there may be 1,000 different species in the United States alone. That's a lot of trees. I pull out my sketchbook and start doodling some of them. I wish I had my colored pencils. The clock ticks. 40 minutes. 40 minutes of Bianca kicking my desk and smirking about the fact that Dad drove me to school. You okay over there? The fact that Dad drove me to school in the hearse this morning. I argued, but it didn't do any good. It has 4 wheels and runs fine. It'll get you there, he said. Yeah, 4 wheels and a huge sign that says Zale's Funeral Home on the side, I said. I might as well show up at school with a coffin strapped to the roof. But he had to pick up at 9 and Mom needed the van anyway. It had been Bianca's favorite topic of conversation all day. Poor Gianna, imagine having to ride around in a car full of dead bodies, she whispers to Mary Beth Rottweiler, and they crack up. I look down at my sketchbook where I've penciled in the classroom window, the trees outside, the track I wish I was running on right now. 39 minutes. So, Mrs. Loring says, given all those different kinds of trees, completing your leaf collection should be a piece of cake. I'd like to review the requirements one last time. Please take out the project packet I gave you. I pull my science binder from my backpack and flip through the papers, but I can't find the leaf project stuff. It might be in my locker. Here's a French handout on the parts of the body I'm supposed to be studying for a quiz next week. Psst, Gianna. Zig slides his desk a little closer to mine. Look on with me, he whispers. Zig is my lost homework hero. Mom says I have attention issues. Zig has the opposite of attention issues. I bet he could find his 2nd grade name tag if you asked him, and it wouldn't even be wrinkled. Here, he points to the list of requirements on his paper as Mrs. Loring reads them off. You need 25 different leaves. You'll organize and catalog them. Label each leaf with its common and scientific names, its geographical range of distribution, its primary characteristics, and its main uses. You should find a creative way to display your leaves, and I expect you to meet all your deadlines. The final project is due 1 week from today. 1 week, got that? Zig whispers and nudges me with his elbow. I nudge him back. Okay, it's more like a sharp poke, actually, but he knows better than to tease me about deadlines. My brain and deadlines have never gotten along. But finish lines are a whole other story. I'm only good with time if it has to do with running. Which reminds me, 34 minutes. Your first deadline is rapidly approaching, Mrs. Loring says, tapping the big October 11th she's written on the blackboard. I want to see 10 leaves by Monday to make sure you're on track. I wish I were on the track. I look out the window. 32 minutes. Then you'll need to have all 25 leaves collected and identified by next Thursday, so you'll be ready to turn in the final project on Friday, Mrs. Loring says, and smiles out over our desks. She's sure we're all well on our way. Not. She reviews how to use a leaf identification key, even though she's sure we've mastered that by now. Not. She reminds us that she has poster board and binders available if we need them, but she's sure we've all taken care of materials by now. Not. She reminds us how much fun this project is going to be. Double not. I open my sketchbook again and scratch in a big barren tree with branches as empty as my leaf collection is right now. I'll start collecting tomorrow. How hard can it be? I draw in the sports field with soccer nets standing guard at each end. We'll be out there for cross country today too, doing our track workout. I sketch the oval that rings the field and try to texture it with the edge of my pencil to make it look gravelly. Finally, the bell rings, so I don't have to settle for just drawing the track. I sign my sketch at the bottom, Gianna Z, because artists should always sign their creations. I grab my notebooks and head for the door. 2 weeks to sectionals. 2 weeks, Coach Napper tweets her whistle to mark the end of our last 800-meter run. It echoes high and sharp against the brick wall in back of the school. You need to get a move on, Zales. Huh? I stand up from my lunge stretch. What's she talking about? I just had my best run of the week. I'm set, Coach. My times have been, your times are fine. I'm talking about your science grade. Coach Loring, Mrs. Loring, just came over from the soccer field to have a talk with me. No passing grade, no sectionals. I'll have to send your alternate. Coach nods at Bianca Rinaldi, who's just jogged up to us. Oh, wouldn't that be sad? Bianca turns her lip-glossy mouth into a phony pink frown. But I'm ready if you need me, Coach. I've knocked 10 seconds off my regular 4-mile time in the past 2 weeks. She tugs at the bottom of her purple stretchy t-shirt so it almost covers her belly. The silver sparkle letters on it spell out, it's not how you play the game, it's how you look when you play the game. Keep working on it, Bianca, Coach nods. Bianca tosses her ponytail and trots over to Mary Beth Rottweiler, sitting on the steps. This is not happening. Bianca Rinaldi isn't a runner. She might look like a model for running shorts, but she's not a runner. She's not breathing hard. She's not sweating. There's no mud on her sneakers, not even on the bottoms. You can't run cross country in clean sneakers. Coach can't send Bianca. I say that out loud. You can't send her. I have to send her if you're not eligible. Take care of it. Another tweet of the whistle, and everyone heads for the locker room. I pull open the door, and a blast of hot, wet air hits me. A haze of shower steam, sweat, and body splash. I go to the sink, splash cold water on my face, and look up to wipe the drips off my pointy chin. If it's really how you look when you play the game that counts, I've got trouble. My curly red hair frizzes itself into a bad imitation of a shag carpet when I sweat. My cheeks turn the color of ripe strawberries any time that I run. So even if I'm not really pushing it, I look like I'm about to pass out. You okay? Ellen Frankenhoff's face appears in the mirror over my shoulder. You're kind of red, à la visage. Huh? She pats her cheeks. Visage means face. We need to know it for the quiz. Ellen is in my French class and has clearly been studying more than I have. I hope I remember to put these notes in my backpack. My face is always kind of red. I turn and reach for my wind pants on the bench behind her. Tell me about it. Exercise is so overrated. Ellen pulls on her sweatshirt. Her glasses get stuck in the hood, so I reach over to help her get untangled. You're getting faster, though, I say. You're doing really well for a new runner. Ellen never meant to be a new runner. She was perfectly happy going to recycling club after school, but her mom signed her up for the cross-country team after she saw a new report on adolescent obesity. Oh, Ellen's gotten lots faster, hasn't she? Bianca tosses her empty water bottle on the floor, steps up to the mirror to smooth her already smooth blonde hair, and smirks. Maybe she'll be your alternate when you fail science, Gianna. Gianna's not going to fail science, Ellen says to Bianca's reflection, just as Coach steps into the locker room behind us. Well, good. Bianca whirls around so fast I have to jump to avoid getting swatted with her ponytail. She glances at Coach and grins. I'm sure you have everything under control, Gianna. You probably have that leaf collection half done by now, right? My running shirt feels like it's tightening around my chest as Bianca bounces off to meet Mary Beth. I sink down on the bench next to Ellen. She knows. How does she know? How could she know I'm behind on that project? Ellen doesn't say anything. I look up at her. Because I'm late with everything? She smiles, but not in a mean way. Bianca and Mary Beth are like bloodhounds. They sniff out your weaknesses. That makes me laugh a little. Ellen tilts her head. What's so funny? Nothing really. It's just that Sig and I play this game where we figure out what dogs people would be if they're dogs. We always had Bianca and Mary Beth pegged as pit bulls. Ellen smiles too. Maybe they're mutts, like a pit bull bloodhound mix. Always ready to go in for the kill. Ellen sighs. Afraid so, Gianna. Bianca's dying to go to sectionals. She'll do anything to make sure there's a reason they need her as an alternate. Terrific. I take a deep breath. You need a ride home? Ellen nods. If it's okay. Fine with me if you don't mind riding in the hearse. Empty, right? It's always empty when Dad picks me up. He says it's disrespectful to expect the dead to go along schlepping kids all over the place. They've done their time. Yeah, I'd love a ride. And Bianca's probably gone by now, so we won't have to listen to the corpse car jokes. She picks up Bianca's water bottle from the locker room floor and tosses it into the recycling bin with a sigh. Do you know Americans throw away 30 million of these things a day? Wow, that's a lot of water bottles. There must be something someone could make out of those. I grab my duffel bag in one hand and my backpack in the other. Coach can't replace me at sectionals. She can't. Bianca has glitter letters on her shirt. That's just not right. Ellen and I step outside, and Dad's there waiting in the long black car with Zale's Funeral Home printed in big silver letters on the side. All the windows are down, and he's playing the Beach Boys full blast. Thank God everyone else is gone. By the time we drop Ellen off at her house and swing by to pick up the spinach Mom wants from the farmer's market, it's already after 5. Zig's waiting for me on the porch steps next to our Halloween pumpkins, attaching a motorized propeller to the back of some Lego thing. I slam the hearse door and walk over. Hey! Zig holds up one finger but doesn't look up. He can't talk and think at the same time, so I plop down next to him to wait. The bricks are warm from the late afternoon sun, even though the air's cooling down by the minute. I run my hand over the biggest of the 5 pumpkins we picked from the field at the Parkinson's farm last weekend. We won't carve them until the night before Halloween, but we always put them out early to brighten up the porch. My little brother Ian's pumpkin is the huge one. He's only 6, so Dad had to carry it for him. Dad's is short and sort of squatty like him. Mom's is perfectly round without a single scratch or mark on it. Nona's is tall and skinny and a little bit crooked, and mine is medium-sized with a big knobby bump toward the bottom that looks like a witch's chin. I'm figuring out where the eyes will go when Zig finally looks up. Hey, what's that? I nod at his twirly Lego thing. A battery-operated multi-environment hovercraft, which is a motorized air-propelled vehicle that can operate on land, water, or, most importantly, ice. The Coast Guard uses them on the lake when ice fishermen get stuck out there. Does the Coast Guard make theirs out of Legos too? He puts down his Lego mobile and gives me a shove. Too bad you're being such a dork. I came over to see if you wanted help working on your leaf project. In that case, please accept my humble apologies. I'm sure your hovermacallit will kick the Coast Guard's butt. He grins, brushes a flop of black hair from his eyes, and reaches for his school stuff. I collected a few extra leaves you can have. He presses a keypad to disarm the buzzer alarm he rigged up on his backpack zipper to keep Kevin Richards from stealing his math homework. Here you go. He hands me a clear plastic bag with leaves inside. It's labeled with blue marker. One leaf is a linden and one's a tulip maple. Thanks. How many do you have so far? He asks. I pick up a couple of long pine needles from the step and poke them against one another. Hey, this is kind of like sword fighting, huh? I get a long one in each hand so they can do battle. Gee, have you even started? My right hand picks up the little leaf to use as a shield and is about to win the whole fight, but Zig snatches it away. I have a few, I say. How many? He stares me down. Okay, fine. 2. I hold up his linden and tulip maple leaves. Not many people can get to me like Zig. His real name is Kirby Ziganowski Jr., but he's always been Zig to me. We've been friends since 3rd grade, when he sat behind me in Mrs. Light's class, right next to Lawrence, our classroom iguana. With names like Ziganowski and Zales, we've been homeroom and locker neighbors ever since. Want me to help you find more tomorrow? I nod as Mom sticks her head out the door. Dinner! Hey, Mom, okay if I go out collecting leaves with Zig in the morning? She shakes her head. Not tomorrow. You know it's market day. Shoot. I turn to Zig. Sunday then? Definitely Sunday. Definitely, or definitely maybe? Definitely, I say. He starts down the steps, and I head to the kitchen for lasagna. The smell of Nona's sauce is pulling me in. Gee? Zig stops on the sidewalk. Yeah? He points to the bag of leaves he gave me. It's blowing away, flopping down the steps. Oh, right! I trip on Mom's planter and stumble down to grab it. Thanks! I wave and take my leaves inside. 2 down, 23 to go. So that's the first chapter of The Brilliant Fall of Gianna Z. And I hope you check it out at our school library.